Hi, welcome to Part My Frenchie. This is me, 143. If you don't have a friend, you have one now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you can see, Rosie is like digging into the couch for some reason. I think she always does this before she wants to lay down. So, hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I do not know what she's doing. Are you going to say hi? Are you going to say hello? Come here. So, if you're new here, this is Rosie. Rosie is, and I don't know where Coco went, but this is Rosie. She is here to say hello and hang out with. Oh, Dave and Violet are here. Hello, Dave and Violet. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Again, if you're new here, welcome. We are happy to have you. Happy, happy, happy. It is Frenchie Friday, so it is always a fun-filled day on Fridays. Tuesday at 7 p.m. are our pet loss support and grief lives, but today is for hello, Amy. Hello, 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 hello. But today is our fun day. So, and the beautiful moderator is here. Hello, beautiful moderator. Oh, Rosie. Rosie got her new collar on today too. So she's gonna show that off. I did have we did stop at PetSmart today. The moderator needed something there. And of course, you can't just go to PetSmart for one thing. You have to walk out with a whole crap ton of stuff, which is what we did. Hey, Michelle. Hello, hello, hello. And Patty's here. Hello, Patty. Hello, hello. Yes, exactly. I blame her. I blame the moderator because she's the one that had to go. I was trying to prepare for the show. And she said, I just need to go to PetSmart real quick to get some stuff. And, you can't just go there and not walk out with anything. I guess you can, but, I can't. Let me just put it that way. I can't do that. So, you go in there and you say, hello, hey, hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. You see all sorts of things in there. And I will, I'll show you one of the things. I was going to have it on the girls today, but yes, welcome. I was going to have this on the girls today because as I was walking through PetSmart, I came upon it and it was so darn cute. And I guess I could keep it probably for Easter or something. But I was going to put it on today. I didn't have time. So maybe the next Frenchie Friday, but I will show you what it is because it's so darn cute. They had these little outfits and then the head is hello, hello, hello. Hi, welcome, welcome, welcome. The head is lamb chop. So, and I don't know if Rosie will put it on now, but if I can get her wrangled and put it on, maybe I'll do that later. But yeah, they had these cute little things. It was on clearance. They were on clearance for $8 at PetSmart. I thought they were so cute, which kind of, again, got me down a little bit of a rabbit hole with that because I started, thinking of, I put all these outfits on these dogs and, half the time what happens is if I put it on Coco first, Rosie will come and try to pull it off of her and knock it off of her. So I always have to put things on Rosie first. And then, hello, Joseph, hello. I have to put it on Rosie first and then I can put it on Coco. But again, half the time Rosie will sit there and try to rip it off of Coco. She's quite the showstopper. So, yeah, she's different things that she has to do. But next time I will have them in their little lamb chop outfits because I thought they were so cute. Also, a fun fact, when you go to PetSmart and they have the carts and so forth, and you just need to spend money on things that you really don't need. Again, I blame this on the moderator because she's the one that pointed this out. Purple pedicure polish for dogs. They have purple nail polish for dogs. And the moderators, I know, right? Yeah, good thing I went. So this purple nail polish for dogs. And, you could see it's pretty, small and so forth. But if I was going to put it in the cart, it would have fell through the cart and all this stuff, right? So I kept kept it in my hand, and we go through and check out and everything. I know, right? Purple nail polish for dogs. I haven't tried it yet. I'm going to try it tonight, because I don't know how it works. So I don't want to, plug the thing if it doesn't work well. But I mean, I remember as a kid, we painted our dogs' nails with regular nail polish. But I mean, they make this for dogs. And I mean, well, like I said, I'll have to do it later. But anyway, so I was checking out and, talking to a lady. Of course, I've got all these toys now, which two of the toys, they have to have the same thing. They have to have the same toy or they fight. So I got them both these little pony toy things. Yeah, within 20 minutes, they had those ripped up. So all for their toys, right? But anyways, so getting things started off on Frenchie Friday. If you're new, welcome. This is kind of our fun day. Tuesdays are our pet loss and support days, but I mean, we talk about anything today. So the only thing I ask is that everybody's just respectful to everybody, but this is kind of a fun Friday to explore some different things. If you're new, throw your name in the chat, say hello, and we are happy that everybody is here. Overnight, I gained 200 subscribers. So, I look tired today. You know what? No, I am okay. But what I will say is I normally have makeup on, but I don't have any on because I just went to Cancun last week and my face got all burnt. So that's probably why I look a little tired, because I don't have any makeup on. It's just, this is like all my face burnt in the beautiful Cancun sun. So, which again, I'm like totally toasted. What a beautiful trip though. Absolutely beautiful trip. Went with my best friend and her 3 little girls. It was her little girl's birthday, and we just had an amazing time. I was happy to say, and if you weren't on last week, on my trip, here, I'll show these just briefly. On my trip, this is a whale shark, and I ended up going into the ocean with about 50 whale sharks and swimming with them and snorkeling with them. And it was fabulous. It was absolutely fabulous. And once in a lifetime opportunity, but it was totally worth it. Totally worth it. And I will say this. So this is my best friend, and you can tell she's my best friend because she's carrying one of my, pardon my Frenchie, tote bags in Cancun with all of her stuff. So yeah, she pays tribute to the show as well. So God love her. It was one kind of nice thing about walking around Cancun and seeing my, pardon my Frenchie bag all over the place. So anyways, so that was very, very fun. But I will throw out my usual shout outs. This is Michelle and Bubba. This is Aaron and Angel and Patty and Violet. Everybody is on. I don't know if Aaron's on yet though, but everybody is on. This is our beautiful moderator. She's the one that regulates everything coming in and out. And if anybody, says the wrong thing, she'll ban you. She's like a shark. So she doesn't, yeah, I know she doesn't tolerate much. But I will say too that what was it well, it was probably the week before when I left for Cancun. We tried this new place. I don't know if you've ever heard of Groupons. I'm a very big Groupon person. Groupons are these little coupons basically to different businesses, and you get incredible discounts. And I like it because you can try different things and try something new. Well, they had this one Groupon, and it was called Smash Art. And I'm like, oh, that kind of sounds interesting. I'm not a real big art person because I don't do well at it. But I mean, it looked fun. It was a thing where you go in this huge room and it's almost like a warehouse, and you put your paint, your easel up on there, and you just start throwing paint They had water guns with paint in it. They had balloons with paint in it. You have to wear raincoats so that you don't get it all over yourself. But prior to going into the room, they give you your little, thing here to put your painting on, and your canvas. They give you your canvas to put your painting on, and they sit you down and they say you can do a drawing on there. You can do anything before you go into the paint room. So I decided, because all of my life I do my Frenchie stuff, right? This is a big part of my life. I'm not an artist, so I asked the co-producer, because he's a very good drawer, to draw a Frenchie on the page with me with 143. And then after that, I took it in and I threw paint at it and so forth. But this is how it came out. So it just, after it dried and everything, it was really cool. And I highly recommend that place. It was called Smash Art. It's in Columbus, Ohio. And I'm sure they have other ones like it. Similar, yeah, the little potato. I'm sure they have similar ones like it, in different areas. They also had what they call the rage rooms, where you can bring your own stuff, or they have stuff there, and you just go in a room and you just start smashing things, smashing things all around. And, and that you have to wear like hard hats and glasses and all things for. And that one was pretty expensive, but I guess if you need that kind of raging release, thank you. If you need that kind of raging release, then that would be something that would be good, right? So, anyways, it was definitely a great place to go. I think we'll be back because I really enjoyed painting, and again, I have to probably take the co-producer with me again so he can do my initial drawings for me, because I am not that good at all. But yes. So anyways, moving on. Yes. Pop art. Exactly. Something different and something unique. But when I was in PetSmart and I was looking at all these things, right? I was like, there's so many weird laws out there and so forth. So I kind of started going down a rabbit hole and looking up some stuff for the show tonight. And I thought, like, what would be something interesting? Because when I went to the grocery store earlier today, there was a lady that told me that there was a new federal law that was just passed for animal abuse. And I actually have it here. It's called the PACT Act, Preventing Animal Cruelty and Torture Act. PACT Act makes extreme acts of animal cruelty a federal crime, covering international crushing, burning, drowning, suffocating, impalement, sexual exploitation of non-human mammals, birds, reptiles, and amphibians. It also criminalizes the creation and just distribution of animal crush videos. I have never heard of that, probably because I'm not demented. So, and if you watch animal crush videos, more power to you. I didn't even know what it was, but evidently it's videos where people are torturing animals. I didn't even know that was a thing, but I guess with everything else in the world, that's a thing. So I guess it's called animal crushing video. I know, right? I never heard of that. Violations can result in fines up to $250,000, prison terms up to 7 years, or both. I know, makes you sick, horribly sick. Like who thinks of things like that? That's just asinine. Federal jurisdiction applies when abuse occurs on federal property, affects interstate commerce, and falls under the U.S. maritime and territorial jurisdiction. So I mean, that is a complete step in the right direction for our country and for animals. I mean, it's been a long time that animals have, in my opinion, gotten the short end of the stick because, they're not considered family or anything. They're considered property, right? And, in a way, yeah, they're property, but, we know, and if you are here on Tuesdays for Pet Loss Tuesday, you'll know that it's, they're our identity. They're everything that, encompasses us. It's $1 billion industry, right? So it's not, when I think of animal property, I kind of think of more of like your farming animals or animals that are, made for food and bacon and things like that. Right, not in our house. Absolutely, not in our house either. Um, Animals are part of the family, and that's the way it should be. So, uh, they here's a couple other really good ones. Florida has they criminalizes abandoning pets or leaving them chained during national disasters. So they must have an issue with that in Florida with all the hurricanes that they have. But they have they criminalize abandoning your pets or leaving them chained during natural disasters, which again blows my mind. Right? Blows my mind. I I could not imagine. I could not imagine evacuating somewhere and leaving my dogs behind. I couldn't imagine it. If they can't go, I'm not going, or we're all going together. So, and if somebody says that we can't all go together, we're going to make it happen. So, so it's just the way it is. You don't. I wouldn't leave my kids behind. I wouldn't leave my parents behind. I wouldn't leave anybody behind. You're all coming with. So, I thought that was cool. So, Washington D.C. This is kind of cool. Pets in Housing Act improves access to pet-friendly housing and shelters. That one's huge because for people that may be in domestic situations and they have to go to, like, say, a domestic house for safety with their children, a lot of times it's women and children, and many times they can't take their pets with them. And unfortunately, I did a whole project on this in college. With regards to domestic abuse and so forth, the animals are, besides, usually the spouse or whatever, but in order to get at the spouse, many times, or partner, they'll abuse the animals. And they do it because they know that that's what hurts the family. They know that that's what hurts the kids. So many times when women would have to go to shelters, they had to leave the animals behind. And then the way that the guys would get them to come back to the house, that they'd be like, well, I'm not going to feed the dog. I'm not going to take care of the dog. I'm going to beat the dog while you're gone, or beat the dog until you get back. And I mean, there's some horrible stories on that. So that's good that they're opening up there. They should hopefully do it. And I know, right? It's a bummer. And here's a Maryland law addressed cockfighting and improved local animal protection. I didn't even think that was still a thing, but maybe because I'm not in that kind of arena. But I thought that was interesting as well. California, declawing cats is prohibited unless medically necessary. That's been a huge topic, I think, that has changed over the years, right? People used to declaw their cats all the time, save their furniture or whatever. And a lot of times, if they're indoor cats, I can understand it. But what I didn't understand was actually how they did it, or the process. And, I mean, it's quite painful for cats. And again, I had no idea of the process till I actually looked into it. But it's kind of rough. It's kind of rough on cats. So yeah, they made that a law in California that you cannot do that. So, but on a side note, what I thought I would do is, after going kind of down that rabbit hole of all these different laws and so forth, because I'm in the process of trying to get a bill passed here in Ohio, and with regards to disenfranchised grief and bereavement, and allowing for bereavement for companion animals. So I'm working on that right now with some of our state legislators to see if we can get that added into, Ohio's, work laws, just to at least give 2 days to people with companion animals when they have pets that have passed, to basically just protect their job. The company doesn't have to pay them. They could take it on PTO. They could take it on leave or unpaid. but at least so that somebody at least gets 2 days, of kind of bereavement. And it's very important. There's a lot of people that don't have kids. There's a lot of people like myself. I do have kids, but I have animals, and they are equally as important to me. And again, this is kind of what this channel does. I've been fighting to change the stigma of society with regards to pet loss and grief, because it is a very, very real thing and deserves attention. It deserves attention. And I when you have a strong work ethic, and you have something like a companion death with regards to a dog, cat, whatever, bird, fish, whatever you got, it's society just embarrasses you. Like, oh, you're grieving a dog. Yes, of course I am. Of course I am. I remember when I was in my younger year and I lost my one cat that was, gosh, she was like 20 years old. And I rushed home because she was dying and she didn't look right in the morning. And then I had gotten a call that she was dying. And I left work and grabbed her and, put her in a little basket, and I ran her to the vet, and she died on the way to the vet. I was, early 20s at that time. And all I kept thinking was I was broken up over this situation horribly, but I was thinking, I've got to get back to work or I'm going to get in trouble at work because they're not going to understand this. And yeah, Midnight was her name. And I thought they're not going to understand this. And so I went back to work and I sat there at my desk and I was broken up. And, trying to process and trying to work. There was no way I could focus on work, but I was just so, scared and, that I'd get in trouble at work. And, now that I'm older and so forth, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is that we take care of ourselves. So anyways, but we'll leave that for Pet Loss Tuesday. But anyway, so I started going down. So I'm working on that. But with regards to going through all of this, I thought something fun for Frenchie Friday. I looked up the weirdest animal laws, both in the U.S., international, and Canada. And some of these are I think are really, really, really going to blow your mind because they blew my mind. So we'll start out with, and there's only 10 in each. So I'm not going to bore you with many more than 10 each. So we've got for the United States. And I guess we can go down from number 10. In Massachusetts bans gorillas from riding in the back seat of cars. Why? Nobody knows. So that is a law in Massachusetts that gorillas cannot ride in back seats of cars. Number 9, in International Falls, Minnesota, cats are legally prohibited from chasing dogs up telephone poles, and the law exists to prevent accidents and injuries. So I've never seen a dog go up a telephone pole, but I guess that's a thing there in where they are. I bring a Corey. Oh, wow. Oh, congratulations, Lori. I love I saw a corgi today when we were out at PetSmart. Those are beautiful dogs. The Queen's dogs too. The Queen of England always had corgis. I think she had several over her lifespan. Let's see. Number 8. No turtles in bathtubs. That is in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma prohibits keeping turtles in bathtubs due to sanitation concerns. So there's that. I used to have a turtle a while ago, and I kept him in an aquarium. He lived a long time. His name was Buddy, and he was just a little red ear slider, which I got at a flea market they were selling these little baby turtles at a flea market. And then years later, I found out that they're illegal in Ohio. So who knew, right? And they said that if you turn them in, like if you call, whoever and tell them that you have a red air slider, then they come and they will tag it. But the way that they tag the turtles is they'll tag it up through the shell, and a lot of times it'll kill the turtle. So I don't understand that. But anyway, so Buddy remained, I guess, contraband in my home for years until he demised. So anyway, so that's number 8 in Oklahoma. Number 7 in Ohio makes it illegal to undress in front of your dog. The reasoning is unclear, but it's on the books as a decency rule. So you cannot undress in front of your dog in the state of Ohio. Yeah, I am too. That's awesome. That's awesome. Let's see. Number 6. You're limited to 2 birds per household. Fremont, California only allows only 2 birds per home to reduce noise complaints. So in Fremont, California, you can only have 2 birds. I would be in violation in Fremont, California, because I have 3, 4, 5 birds. So they're in separate cages, but yeah, I could not live there, I guess. Let's see, number 5. No, wait, hang on. Number 5, Little Rock, Arkansas, dogs may not bark after 6 p.m. So no dog barking after 6 p.m. I don't really know how they would control that, but yeah, you cannot do that in Arkansas. So yeah, keep that on the radar. Number 4, this is a good one. Nevada explicitly bans hamster fighting. Yes, really. It's part of the animal cruelty laws in Nevada. No hamster fighting in Nevada. So, yes, Patty's is 5 birds. So I didn't even know that was a thing either. So I must be living under a rock. Let's see. Where is my number 3? Let's see. Oh, okay. You cannot wake a sleeping bear for a photo in Alaska. Alaska makes it illegal to wake a hibernating bear just to take a picture with it. But hunting them is still allowed. So I'm assuming that if you were going there, and I've never known anybody that would want to wake a bear up for a picture, but more power to them. So let's see. Number 2, frog jumping contest. Frogs cannot be eaten afterwards. California law says that frogs used for frog jumping contests cannot be eaten afterwards. It's a rule. Even if your frog dies during the competition, you cannot eat him afterwards. I think that is a good law, and I think it's absolutely horrible. I'm not a frog-like person, so that's probably that's probably part of it. But that one kind of blew my mind about not eating your frogs after a frog eating contest. Number 1, Florida allows elephants to plow cotton fields, but bans them from walking on public sidewalks. So, yeah, I guess that happens a lot in Florida, where I've never seen an elephant plowing a field in Florida. Right? Dave says only if the frog loses. But that's a thing. They also have in Illinois. Illinois prohibits coloring animals to prevent cruelty. And I remember when I was growing up at Easter time, they always had the little chicks and ducks, and people would paint them for some reason. I remember seeing it. I don't think we ever bought them. We had ducks as a child, but not a colored ones. But and they're like bright, vibrant colors. They were like pink and purple. And I don't even know whoever came up with that. But I think it was usually only during Easter time, from what I remember. And they would dye chicks and they would dye ducks. And I guess it made them more favorable. But again, it was, horribly hazardous for them. So yeah, that's a good thing. Oh, here's another. Nevada bans camels on the highway. A leftover 19th century law prohibits camels from walking on highways. That would be in Nevada. I don't think I've ever seen a camel walking in Nevada on a highway. Pennsylvania forbids giving goldfish as carnival prizes to prevent neglect. Now, we still do that here. We actually have the Ohio State Fair coming up, and they still have the little game where you take the little ping pong balls and you throw them in the little fish bowls. And if you win one, or if you get one in, they give you a goldfish. I never understood like why. I mean, it was neat when I got them as a kid, and I think we even got them a few years ago. And they lived for a good amount of time, but still, like, it is weird, right? Like here, it's just, I just wonder how many of those fish never made it home to their little families. But anyway, so that is those are the ones for the U.S. So I figured, since we've got Michelle on, Michelle's in New Zealand, and so we've got a little international. So I've got a top 10 of international for you, and these are laws internationally. 10, Germany's dog tax. Small dogs cost less. Dangerous breeds cost more. It's basically a surcharge. So you have to pay more money for dangerous breeds, and small dogs cost less. That is in Germany. Interesting enough. I guess maybe they're trying to slow down people buying dangerous dogs. I don't know. UK, number 9, no drunk riding horses or cattle. You cannot ride a horse, cow, or even a goat while intoxicated. The law is from 1872 and is still enforced today. So maybe I need to get to the UK and see. This evidently is a problem there. So I thought that was interesting. Number 8, Sweden. Dog daycares must have windows. Sunlight is legally required so dogs don't get depressed during daycare time. That is in Sweden. Here we go. Number 7, New Zealand. Ducks have the right of way. If a duck waddles into the road, traffic stops, and ducks are basically VIPs. Now, Michelle, is that true? Is that a true thing, where ducks have the right of way? And we have a lot of like Canada geese and regular ducks. Yes, we love I love our ducks too. We have, and especially during spring when they're all out. For the most part, I mean, everybody stops for the ducks. And I remember it was years and years ago, the co-producer was out, and he had seen ducks trying to cross the road, and he had gotten out and kind of stopped traffic so the ducks could cross the road. So he probably just did that because I love ducks. Ducks are just amazing little creatures. Number 6, Rome bans goldfish bowls. Bowls are considered cruel due to limited oxygen and distorted vision. Rome says no more fish prisons. So I'm assuming that means that they have to have some sort of aquarium or something like that. I'm wondering, like, how do they even enforce this stuff? If they in a town, we heard them back to the river. Oh yeah, I want to see that. You're gonna have to send that to me. I'd love to see that. Aw, that's awesome. That's awesome. China, dogs must be under 14 inches tall. Beijing limits households to only one dog under 14 inches tall. Big dogs are outlawed and are like contraband. So that's interesting. I'll have to look into that a little bit more. They're outlaw. I don't know. How do you even stop that? Like, how do you stop somebody from doing that? Switzerland bans lonely guinea pigs. You cannot legally own one guinea pig. They must have a friend. Switzerland is the king of empathy laws. So I guess that's, but interestingly enough, we had a guinea pig, Herschel. Herschel was his name. And when we got the guinea pig, I remember us asking if we should get another guinea pig, and they said no. They said if you already have one, and if it's not from like the same litter, they have two, because they could fight and so forth. And so we all had Herschel, but you see a lot of these videos, and there's some of these people with these really big enclosures for guinea pigs, and there's like 10. Yeah, okay, so Patty says that they have duck crossing signs when they're at. Yeah, we do too, but they're usually like by schools and so forth. We should have many more out because, again, in the spring we get tons of Canada geese or Canadian geese. I know Dave is going to correct me on Canada geese, or because it's technically Canada geese instead of Canadian geese, because you would think more than one Canadian. But anyways, if Dave will chime in on this, I believe it's Canada geese. I was trying to make sure I had that right. Number 3, Alaska. Oh, yeah, well, here, yeah, number 3, Alaska. It's illegal to wake a bear for a photo. You can hunt a bear, but you cannot wake one for a selfie. So I guess they're considering Alaska as international on here for some reason, because it's, still one of our states. It's just kind of in a little island off to itself, or a little bit away. 2, Thailand. Illegal to step on money because it has the king's face on it. This includes coins. So if a chicken steps on money, it's technically illegal. So, oh, thank you. Okay, so I did get it right. I did get it right. And number 1, internationally, Australia. You cannot name your pet Jesus. In some religions, naming your pet Jesus is considered blasphemy. This is, it's considered blasphemy and not allowed. That's in some regions of Australia. So I guess if you name your pet Jesus, don't tell the vet that when you take it to the vet and they ask what your dog's name is. You'll have to give your dog a middle name, which that's a good question for everybody. If you have animals, do your animals have middle names? I know all of mine do. We've got Coco's Chanel, and then Rosie Lou, and Lola Jean, and we always technically give the middle name of our dog to relate to somebody in the family. So Rosie Lou is after my late mother-in-law, and then Lola Jean is after my middle name's Jean, and we always brother Harley James, and it's just a weird thing that we do in our family. And I think other people, Michelle, does Bubba have a middle name? Or anybody on here? What about Lori? What about your corgi? What is corgi's name? What's the name? But I thought that was kind of just something nice to add. Give him a middle name. Just makes it fun. Oh yeah, Noir is Pootie Ham. Yeah, that's moderators. Noir is she's this beautiful dog. But she's a thick girl. She's very, very thick, but she's very muscular and so forth. So, but I thought if we've got a couple people on that are from Canada, so I did 10 of the weirdest Canadian animal laws. So 10 of the weirdest Canadian laws, just because we have some of our friends from the Maple Country. So number, well, hang on. I'm still on my international. Hang on. Let me move this over. Got to switch my page. Number 10, no moose flying in airplanes in Alberta. It's illegal to let a moose fly in an airplane. The law is meant to prevent transporting wild animals as passengers. I don't really know how that would, do these things happen often that they have to make laws for them? And from my understanding, maybe Dave can back me up on this one. Moose can really kind of like kill you. I mean, they're beautiful creatures, but they can get very uh, aggressive. Is what I like to say because I think it was a couple weeks ago there was somebody on the news that he was trying to take a picture with a moose or whatever, and the thing charged him and stomped him and all this stuff. So I could not imagine claiming one as a human and trying to transport it on an airplane. Um, oh, Bubba is his nickname after. Ah, oh my gosh, I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna look that up. I love it. Love it. Um, oh, okay. So Dave, yeah, see, Dave is my National Geographic, and he knows all my animal yeah. Some Dave says moose are more dangerous than bears, which I can believe it because I've seen some horrible stories. Let's see, number 9. In Ontario, Canada, you can't paint or dye a horse for entertainment purposes, even for parades. So that's an interesting one. I don't know if I've ever seen a painted. I don't know if I've ever seen a painted horse, except maybe in the Wizard of Oz, the original Wizard of Oz, when they went into Oz, like all the horses changed colors and so forth. I don't know if those were actually painted or not, but it looks like they are because they change colors as they go through the town. But I've never seen a painted horse. Maybe somebody here has. Or I mean, I know they decorate horses and so forth for parades and all that, but yeah, I've never really seen that. Number 8, this is good in Quebec. No scaring cows. In rural Quebec, frightening livestock is a punishable offense. Uh, Mood control is serious business. Yeah, so you cannot scare animals in Quebec, cows specifically. I'm assuming that they can't do what they do here in the United States, which is like cow tipping. I mean, I say this, but like, I don't even think that that's maybe kids still do that for fun. Cows sleep standing up, so they go in at night and knock them down, I guess. I don't know. Either way, I would go knock. I don't want to be sleeping and somebody knock me down. That'd be kind of rude. Let's see. Number 7 is going to be no feeding wild pigs in Manitoba. Feeding feral pigs is banned to prevent disease spread and aggressive behavior. Dave says, went fishing in Canada. The resort owner told us not to worry about the bears, but be very afraid of the moose. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense. So no feeding wild pigs, which that kind of makes sense. Even when you go camping or whatever, they say don't feed the wildlife or they'll come back. 6, no bringing snakes to public parks. That's in British Columbia. You can't bring snakes to public parks, even harmless ones. The law was passed after several surprise reptile picnics. So they actually made that a law. Kind of wondering about the wild snakes that may come into the park. I don't know what they would do with those. But yeah, so no bringing snakes into public parks in British Columbia. Let's see. Number 5. This is in Saskatchewan. No tying dogs to moving vehicles. It's illegal to tie a dog to a moving vehicle, including bicycles. Common sense, but it's apparently needed. So that's a problem? I mean, I would think that that's more along the lines of abuse because if you, there's no way a dog can keep so, which, it was in what National Lampoon's the Vacation. It was Aunt Edna's dog got tied to the back of the bumper, and it was just not the dog didn't make it. So, anyways, but yeah, illegal to tie a dog to a moving vehicle, including bicycles. Now we do have here where people will have their dogs on leashes and bicycles, which God love the dogs because they must be something special. So all right, Michelle says yes, we have that one because people were walking their dogs because I think they were tying their dogs to the car though, because they were too lazy to get out. So they were doing that. Wouldn't that like kill the dogs? Or are you saying on the bikes? Because I, I was gonna say I just got one of those carts. Uh, you've seen them like the running strollers and so forth for kids that you can actually put these big cart things on the. Oh my God, Michelle's with a long leash. They drive slowly. Who does that? Like, I've never. That is right. I have never heard of that in my life. Well, and it must be something if they have to have laws for it. That is crazy. I got this cart thing, and it's like a kid one, but you can attach it to the back of your bike, and it's like a huge stroller, and um, and so the dogs are like kind of in a stroller thing. It kind of looks like a rickshaw, and you just attach it to your bike, and um, there. I'm still trying to learn how to ride my son passed down one of his electric bikes to me, so I'm trying to learn how to ride this electric bike. It kind of gives me a little anxiety. So before I hook the girls up to it, I want to learn how to ride it first. Let's see, number 4. Now this is in Nova Scotia. No selling tie-dyed chickens or rabbits. You can't sell dyed animals for Easter or entertainment. Humane law with colorful twist. So evidently they do rabbits as well. Lazy people, it was happening all the time. Yeah, jeez, that still blows my mind that people would actually. I would never even think about doing that. And then how do you walk on where other cars aren't going to hit them? That would be my thing too. Like how do you know that somebody else isn't going to hit them? Oof, yeah, no. But again, so Nova Scotia, no selling chicks or rabbits for Easter entertainment. I don't even know how they dye rabbits without it, not being hazardous anyways. But I mean, Lord knows poor bunnies get put through all sorts of things. Oh, okay. So basically where there's no other traffic, like not on streets and so forth. Well, that's good. I guess that's good. But still, it's just weird. I don't know. Yeah, not on a proper road. Yeah, it's just weird to me. Like, who does that? Interesting. Because I know if somebody did that here, there would be all sorts of phone calls to the police. I mean, people would be going crazy calling the police. So, which is good, right? Which is good because I don't know. It's just crazy. Let's see. In Alberta, Canada, you cannot keep pet rats. Alberta is famous for famously rat-free, and owning a rat is illegal. The province runs a rat patrol to keep that away. So no owning rats in Alberta, Canada. So, which is interesting because a lot of people here have rats as pets, and supposedly, I mean, from my understanding, I don't know if I would ever own one, just because I'm not a rodent person. Again, we had a guinea pig, and that was on a special occasion. It was basically because the moderator wore me down in life, and I want a guinea pig. I want a guinea pig. I want a guinea pig. Like, you know how that goes when you have a kid that's constantly, bugging you for something. So, yeah, and I was just saying, and the moderator well, she should chime in here, but that was her guinea pig Herschel, that she had to have. And I always do the old, I don't want another animal in the house that I've got to take care of. Oh, BS. Yeah, no, and that's how it always is. Oh, Mom, I want this, I want that. Same thing with the damn birds. Everybody wants birds, but guess who has to clean them up? I do. And I don't know if it's like that in your houses with animals, but moms always have to do that and take care of things. So, but yeah, so no keeping pet rats in Alberta. Number 2, in Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada, no whistling at moose. Whistling at a moose is banned because it provokes aggression during mating season. I don't even know what to say to that one. I don't even know what to say to that one. Like, who's just standing around whistling at moose? Clearly, it's a thing, um, but can't do that. Can't do that. I don't. I don't even know how. Like some of these, like how did they even? Hmm, some of these, like how do they even catch people? Like, are people just outside doing this? And I mean, I'm assuming a cop has to be close by, or somebody's got to turn in, and it just these are ridiculous. Now this last one in Canada, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. Uh, no releasing balloons. No releasing balloons near wildlife areas. That's in Yukon. Releasing balloons near parks or reserves are illegal. They can harm the birds and the caribou. That's also a big thing here. It's not illegal, but it is something. And they, it says that the balloons can get caught places. Our this may be in other countries too, but usually like when there's a memorial, um, something, and usually it normally involves a death. People do a lot of these, balloon releases, and they are beautiful. I will say, because I've been to a few. When I had my pet loss meetings, there was a couple times that we did balloon releases. We would all go outside and we would do balloon releases. And at the time it was maybe like 10 or 15 people, in the group or whatever. And we would just, release balloons with maybe little sayings on them or something. But, depending on what, we're in Ohio, so more than likely our stuff went into fields somewhere. But, a lot of places where if you're around the water and all that, it could, when the balloons go down and pop, they can go into the wildlife, and that just causes all sorts of issues. So, Michelle, you tell me, is that big out there? Like these balloon releases? Do they do a lot of that there? Because I mean, they are nice, and I'm not gonna lie, I've been to some balloon releases where there was like 100 balloons, and that's a bit much, even for airplanes and all that. It can really clog things up, or get stuck, in trees, and then they say birds will eat them, and but I'm assuming more towards the ocean and all that, it'll get into the water, and then you have real issues. So, no one does that. Yeah, it's big here. It's big here, but it's typically for memorials. Um, I've 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 been to a few, and they're extremely controversial. Um, I've seen it too on social media where people will, post it. Oh, I went to this big balloon thing, and then, good Lord, the social media people come out and they just, you know, the poor person is suffering a loss or something, and then they have to deal with, uh, um, yeah. Well, so Michelle says that we don't like plastic; it gets into the waterways. Yeah, yeah, and that's a huge problem we have over here too. And again, we're kind of in the middle of this, middle of the state, and we don't have many like oceans or anything like that. But unless you're in Florida, or one parts of the U.S. But yeah, that's huge. That is huge. There's so many different rules. This is kind of one of my favorite stories that I had no idea. I seriously had no idea. Our family was on a cruise a few couple years ago, and we went we went to a turtles, seals, whales. Yeah, they can, and then they can die and all that, and even like the little plastic things, they get hooked in those. And I mean, same thing with ducks and all that. They can really get in trouble. But we went on this cruise, and it took us to I think we were in, we got on a boat and we got on a smaller boat and we went to St. Lucia. And yes, thank you, moderator. Yes, the channel gained 200 new subscribers overnight. And I'm very, very happy with that. That is very, very, makes me very happy that people are finding us and tuning in. Um, but we go on this little boat to St. Lucia and we spend the day there. And while we were there was a whole beach full of coral, and it was all dead coral. Um, yeah, right. I know. I was amazed. I was absolutely amazed. But there was all this like washed up coral on, and it was real pretty and stuff, but it was dead. It wasn't alive. Um, so I I had taken, and I put some in a bag with some shells and this and that, and went to get back on the boat. And you have to go through kind of like a customs thing coming through. And the guy opened my bag, and he like pulls out my seashell bag and stuff. And he's like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "Oh," I'm like, "We were at the beach and, grabbed a couple shells and pieces of coral." And he's like, "You're not allowed to do that." I'm like, I was not aware that I was not allowed. I collected seashells as a kid. So yeah, I was like dumbfounded. And he just gave me that like stupid American look. He was just like, and as he put my thing down, back in my bag and handed it to me. And I had no idea that that was an issue. And I brought it up to my best friend, the one that has the Frenchie bag, and she lives in Florida. And I told her, because she was on the cruise as well with her family, and I said, I got yelled at getting on the boat because I took some of the dead coral that was on the beach as well as shells and all that. And she said, because she's in Florida, and they live by different rules in Florida with regards to conserving beaches and all that stuff and turtles, and she's like, "Well, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to take that." And I was like, "Well, why? It's not nobody. To me, it was beautiful, and I'd rather just take it and display it somewhere as something beautiful instead of just having it die there on the beach. Again, there was millions of pieces of it. It's not like there was 3 pieces and I took the three that they were there. But she said, yeah, she's like, because if you go there and you take some and then somebody else takes some and and I'm like, well, okay, but it's dead. It's not, nothing's, it's dead. But yeah, so she told me that I just didn't understand how that went. And so what I did, because I thought, she kind of gave me a complex about it. And I thought, I'm going to make this right. So I took 30 little pieces of the coral, and it was, maybe like this big or whatever. I took like 30 pieces of the coral. I got online. I looked up this whole educational pamphlet on coral, and I made up these little individual bags. Every one had an educational piece about the coral as well as a piece of the coral. And I sent it to school with my son. And I asked his teacher, in order to make it right with the sea gods, I guess, if they could please teach the kids about coral so that at least the coral that I took went to good use. And then each kid got to take a piece of coral home. Yeah, I felt really bad about it. I'm like, and I was like, I again, something new to me. I had been picking up shells all my life, and I didn't think that was a big deal, but clearly it is. So, anyways, but I did make good with the coral. Got a whole class of 30 kids that learned about coral, and they got to take a piece of it, and so made it something bad into something beautiful, right? Just made it more educational. So anyways, but yeah, if you are here, I am so glad that you're here. And I hope we are at the end of the hour. Again, Tuesday is our pet loss support time. I will give you kind of a brief update on something that's going to be coming up in the next couple weeks. I did get in touch with one of our viewers had mentioned this wonderful lady. Her name is Mary, and she's a medium, and she does pet readings and so forth. So I'm going to be talking with her, and we're going to have her on a couple of the shows. And she also has a partner whose name is Josh. He's a medium as well, and he does things like that. So I am going to get them to come on the show and do some stuff, and it should be very, very interesting. I'm very excited about it. So I'm going to get talking to her today as soon as we get off of here and set all that up. But I am so, so thankful that for all the new subscribers, for all the people that joined tonight, that took an hour out of your day to spend it with me, and maybe learn something weird about the laws that we have all over the country. At least the United States isn't the only weird one. Everybody else has laws too. So I do appreciate it. I appreciate everybody hitting the like button, subscribe button, and commenting here, because if you don't have a friend, you have one now. We've got a beautiful community, and I'm just so very thankful for each and every one of you. I hope everybody has a wonderful night and a great weekend. Be safe, and hopefully I will see you again on Tuesday, 7 p.m. on Tuesday. Yes, I know, that's exciting, isn't it? Very, very excited. So yes, yes, yes. Have a wonderful, beautiful night, beautiful people. I do appreciate you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Take care. And Rosie's asleep over here. I don't know where Coco went. So, but maybe next show I will have them in their lamb chop outfits, as long as there's no law against dressing your pets up, crazy, looking crazy. So anyways, all right. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Bye. See you next time. Bye.